What's up, metalheads? Welcome to the Metal Inquisition. Tonight is not episode 21 of the show, and tonight is not the new series that I've been talking about the last few days. That's in the works. Keep your eyes peeled. Tonight I want to talk a little bit about a German thrash band called Rezet, and more specifically about their new EP, You Asked For It. This was just released September 1st, 2017 on Enorm Music. 4 tracks. Really cool lyrics with it as well. And the last track is a cover of Chemical Warfare. Not the Slayer Chemical Warfare, but in fact the Dead Kennedys Chemical Warfare from the first album, Fresh Fruits for Rotting Vegetables. So if you're a Dead Kennedys fan, you definitely want to pick this up, even more so. So tonight, there's going to be a couple things I plan to do with this video. One, first and foremost, we're going to listen to the band talk about this album. Talk a little bit about each track, what it's about, talk about the writing process, just a little kind of oversight about the album and the writing process and all that, which I think is kind of cool, just to hear a perspective from the artists themselves. Then you're going to hear me talk about my thoughts on the album. And then I thought it would be cool just to kind of run down a quick bio of the band and just give you a quick little history and maybe show off their other CDs that I own, and talk about those a little bit. And then lastly, as a little added bonus, at the very end, throw their newest video for the opening track to the EP, Minority Erazer. So let's go to the video of the guys talking about the new EP, You Asked For It. So sit back and listen to them talk about this new EP, and I'll be back to join you in just a second. Check this shit out.
Hi everybody, I'm Ricky from Rezet. Thanks for having us at Metal Inquisition. Hi to John. We just released our new EP entitled You Asked For It. 4 brand new songs, or 3 and a cover tune. We think it's the best material we recorded so far. Yeah, the first song on it is...
It's Minority Erazer. Probably, well, definitely fastest song we've ever written so far. Yeah. We made a video to it this year, was released on which day? I think in August.
In August.
In August, right? You should definitely check this out.
Yeah, you get the message. The second one is Thrash the Hate. To thrash metal in general. For all of you out there watching that, I think a lot of thrashers are watching this. It's got a cool groove, reminds me of old Creator meets old Metallica. Third one is
Friendly Fire. Classical speed metal track about all this killing for religion stuff and all the crazy madness out there in the world.
Killing for religion. Something we don't understand. And track 4 is a cover tune, like I mentioned before. It's Chemical Warfare, not by Slayer, but by the mighty Dead Kennedys. bands and check us out, and then you see that we're not only a metal band, that we love punk the same as we love metal.
Definitely.
So go check out this EP, go support us. Thanks for supporting us so far by watching this, and grab your copy if you asked for it, and hope to see you on tour again soon. Bye.
So you had a little bit of an opportunity to hear the guys in the band actually talk a little bit about the new EP from Rezet. You asked for it. A little bit about the songs, and you actually got to hear just a little excerpt of each track from the EP, and them talk a little bit about the meaning behind the songs, and so a little informational video from them, which is always cool. For me, musically, they went down the path more of German thrash this time around. Vocally, it still kind of has a little twinge of Megadeth, which doesn't bother me at all, and I really enjoy this EP a lot. For me, the two tracks that I like the most, excluding the cover track, is Minority Eraser and Friendly Fire. I like all three tracks, but the two that I like the most are those two, with my favorite being Minority Eraser. Chemical Warfare, really enjoy that cover. I've always liked the Dead Kennedys track, and I thought it was a cool song for them to cover. It's not the typical ones like Holiday in Cambodia that's been covered before, Too Drunk to Fuck. It's not one of those typical ones that you typically have bands cover, metal bands cover specifically. And so it's always fun to see metal bands cover a DK song that isn't the popular ones, for lack of a better term. So anyway, you can go to Reset's Facebook page, and there is a button to click on Shop Now, and you can actually pick this up from them directly on their merchandise page, along with their other ones. So definitely go to their Facebook page today. Right now, as I'm talking, you're looking at that page, so you can get an idea of what it looks like when you go to Facebook. But please check them out, hit that like button, share it with everybody you know, make sure that you start talking this band up. So before I close it up and we show you the video for Minority Eraser, I'd like to talk just briefly about the band and the history of the band. So it was formed in 2003 by Ricky Wagner, who was one of the guys on the video that you just viewed a few minutes ago of the band, the guitarist. He formed it at the age of 12, and when he first got into music and into heavier music, he got into metal by way of hearing the song Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm, which is a cool song, but it's just kind of an interesting way to get into metal. And Papa Roach, Last Resort. Two great songs, but not the typical way you hear people talking about getting into metal. So I thought it was interesting that that's the approach that actually brought him into metal. Shortly after, he heard Metallica and then Megadeth. Megadeth is one of his biggest influences and one of his favorite bands of all time. As a matter of fact, in the video, he quotes Megadeth. If you caught that during their talk about the EP, he quotes Megadeth in there. So if you didn't catch it, go back and listen, you'll catch it. But he's a big fan of Megadeth, and who can blame him? Great band, been around for the long haul, and one of the big four, so you can't say much about that. But during the course of time, they recorded 4 demos. Finally, in 2008, they did an EP, Toxic Avenger, I believe is what it was called. Check my notes a little bit here, so I don't say something wrong. They released 3 albums after that through 2016 that included Civil Nightmares. That on this album, this version was a reissue from 2013 on ARG Records that contains the Toxic Avenger EP. Now, ARG Records, just for your reference, is a label owned by Ralph Huber, who, if you don't know the name, cool, I'm going to tell you who it is. But those of you that have been around for a long time should recognize the name. Ralph Huber was in the band Mekong Delta, probably still is, and he owns ARG Records, and Mekong Delta, Living Death were both on the ARG label in the 80s. And so that's why you should recognize that. Kind of a cool tie-in, and so yeah, that's kind of a little tidbit of information I thought was kind of cool. But they reissued, that label reissued this with the bonus tracks, which is cool. So Civic Nightmares, another album, Have Gun Will Travel, and it has some bonus tracks. Now, without looking closely at it, I believe those bonus tracks may be live tracks, but it's also on ARG reissue. And then the 2016 release that was on Mighty Music, called Reality is a Lie, which is also released on Enorm Music, which is the same label that the new EP is on. Now, when this came out, I got a copy sent to me by Ricky, and listened to it, and I did a review of it, and it was really, really good. But again, like I was saying, between this album and this album, there's a difference both in production of the recording of the album, as well as the way in which it's played. This album is straightforward. It's more influenced by the Megadeth style of playing and thrash, and this album is more towards the destruction German thrash metal scene. Still got that like I said, that tinge of Mustaine-ish type vocals, but they are their own band. They are not just like a Megadeth clone. I have some bands that are their Megadeth worship. That is not what I'm saying, but you can definitely hear that Megadeth is his favorite band in the way it's played and the riffing and all that stuff. That being said, another tremendously great album that you should own. It should be in your collection. So if you liked this and you're going to buy this, might as well spend the extra money and buy this as well. And this is available on their Facebook page as well. Again, the Facebook page should be showing up right now. As we're speaking, it should be showing up right now. So again, they've been around for a while. They've been touring. They had an opportunity to hit the U.S. once. I know they want to get back out here. Obviously, they did the EP, so they're working towards doing another album. Hopefully within the next year, hopefully 2018, we see a full length from Reset. But had a chance to tour with Destruction. They just, if you go to their Facebook page, you see a bunch of different bands, bigger bands that they've toured with. And so they've really, really, cut their chops, so to speak, if that's the right phrase, opening for a lot of different big bands and bigger thrash bands, and had a lot of great opportunities. And they're a great bunch of guys. They interact well with their fans on Facebook, and I'm sure they're the type that will come out after the show, have a beer with you, sign your stuff, talk to you, and treat you right. I can tell you in the times that I've interacted with the Ricky on Facebook, he's a top-notch guy. He's a straightforward and top-notch guy. But I will tell you, definitely need to check this out. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to hit me up as well. I can definitely help you out as well. But you definitely need to check out Reset. They are definitely worth the time and the effort to look up. But now we're going to leave you with the video, brand new from this year, of Minority Erazer, from the EP from this year. You asked for it. Here is Reset with Minority Eraser. Check this video out, and as always, stay fucking metal.